Hi friends, welcome back. This is Devang here and this is your lecture number 4 for revising the subject of EIS, Enterprise Information System. Lecture 1 we revised chapter number 3, lecture 2 we revised chapter number 4. Today we are meeting here to revise chapter number 2. Chapter number 2 is Financial and Accounting System. Last lecture, lecture number 3, we revised chapter number 1. Chapter 1 was a chapter regarding softwares that are used in businesses. Name of the chapter was Automated Business Process. So that chapter was regarding general discussion of softwares that are used in business. Now chapter 2 here is an example of chapter 1, because if chapter 1 is about softwares used in business, chapter 2 is precisely accounting software used in business, accounting software. Well, as such, this chapter does not cover only accounting software. It starts with general discussion about accounting softwares, but further, it is more about integrated softwares, also called as ERP softwares. So, mainly in this chapter, we will be talking about things related to ERP softwares. Anyways, starting with the discussions there, say the first part of the chapter is certain general concepts in a computerized accounting system. Now these general concepts are seen in almost every accounting software, and for all of these concepts I had given you example of the tally accounting software. Yeah, we'll see that again. Dekho. Types of data. Every accounting software will have at least two types of data: master data and transaction data. Master data is the one which is relatively permanent, does not change with every entry that you make, while non-master data is the transaction data. It changes every time you enter a new entry. Yeah, like master data might include accounting master data, inventory, payroll, and statutory master. Accounting master will be like the ledger names, ledger types, ledger groups, etc. Inventory master will be again inventory types or names of the inventories and all. Payroll master will include the names of all your employees, designation, salary details of employees and all. Statutory master will contain tax details, tax number, number, GST rates applicables and all that will be there in the statutory master. Transaction data will be the data that is expected to change frequently. Now, master data is generally not typed. It is not typed, rather it is selected. Why? Because while doing any accounting work, master data is something that you have entered first. So now while entering every transaction each time, you do not need to enter the master again. Rather, while entering transaction each time, you don't enter the master data again. You just have to select from the masters that you have already entered earlier. Yeah. Non-master data is generally typed because it will change in each entry. Sometimes even transactional data could be selected from a drop-down list. Now for this I had given you example. Transaction data sometimes might also be selected rather than typing. It might be selected from a ready-made list if that transaction pertains to an earlier transaction that was entered before this. For example, while entering details of the GRN, you might have to also give reference of the purchase order number. But purchase order was entered before the GRN was entered. Now the PO number, purchase order number, is a transaction data. But while entering the GRN, you don't have to type the PO number. Rather, you have to choose the PO number out of the PO numbers that you had already entered earlier, because your software will have a restriction. Remember controls in chapter 3. Your software will have this one restriction that without entering the PO number, it will not allow you to enter the GRN. Yes, so without the PO number existing, GRN was not allowed. That was precisely the example that I gave you here, that GRN you have to type, but PO number will be selected from the PO numbers already entered earlier. Yeah, so GRN number is a transaction data which you type. Date of the GRN, yes, you have to type. Other details like quantity of the GRN you have to type, but material name, supplier address, supplier bank account details, and all these other details about the supplier, it is master data. It is directly selected from the available list. Yeah. Okay, further. Voucher types are basically transaction types. Any accounting system will contain all these different types of transactions that you can enter. That is simple, that I'm not revising. Voucher number, okay. Accounting flow shows that this is how accounting is done. Transaction entry, first you do the transaction, then voucher entry, ledger posting, balancing, trial balance, P&L and balance sheet. Out of these things, only transaction and voucher entry you have to do manually. Rest of the things here are done automated by the software automatically. So rest of these things are done automatically by the software. Types of ledger, well, your accounting softwares classifies ledger like this. Your accounting software will classify ledger like this. It considers that there are two types of ledger: debit balance ledger and credit balance ledger. According to the accounting software, there are only two types of ledger, that is debit balance ledger and credit balance ledger. Debit balance will have further asset or expense, and credit balance ledger might be income or a liability. All the expense and income accounts, all the expense and income ledger will go and close in the profit and loss account, while asset and liability ledger will close in the balance sheet. The P&L itself will also finally appear in the balance sheet. This is how an accounting software understands all the ledger accounts. So, well, when you do the transaction, when you type the journal entries, before typing journal entries, you have to create ledger. The ledgers that you create has to be classified under either of these four groups. Based on your classification, the software will automatically put the ledger in either P&L or the balance sheet, based on how you have classified the ledger. Say if I have created the sales ledger I have to classify as income category. If I classify that under liability, then the sales will be directly shown in the balance sheet. Look, software does not know that sales comes in P&L and fixed asset comes in balance sheet. Software does not know that. How will the software get to know? Well, software will get to know because you have to classify the ledger under these four categories. Yeah. So that comes under grouping of the ledgers. You have to classify the ledger according to these four groups as in income, expense, asset and liability. Next is a discussion regarding front end and back end. Well, certain softwares are such that you will have a separate software for front end work, separate software for back end work. Front end is the software which interacts with the user. Front end software will interact with the user, get requests from the user and do presentation to the user, while backend software will do the processing on the backend. Backend software will do the processing in the server on the backend. So say in case of that three-tier architecture, if you remember, you had server 1, that is a database server, server 2 was application server. I might say that these both are your backend softwares. The server contains the backend software, while client computers contain the front end software. Front end software mainly has the job of providing the user interface. I'll give an example that if you are accessing Facebook from your mobile phone, then the Facebook app installed on your phone is the front end software. But the Facebook software in the Facebook server, the Facebook software in that Facebook server would become the backend software. Now this point over here is saying that in case of big companies, large softwares, it is necessary to separate front end and back end software. Facebook has a separate software for front end which is given to you, and Facebook will have a separate software for backend which is there in Facebook server. So when you search something on Facebook, is it the software in your phone which is doing the search? No. When you search something on Facebook, the software in your phone does not search. Rather, your phone is just doing presentation. Rather, your phone will just transmit your search things to the Facebook server. Software inside the Facebook server will do the searching in the server. Yeah. So that is the backend software. Now there are given some reasons that why is it beneficial to separate front-end software and the back-end software. Why is it beneficial to separate front-end and back-end software? Well, it is beneficial to separate that because of this, because domain expertise. Front-end software is expert in handling requests from the user, while back-end software is for storing the data. Yeah. Presentation. Front-end software is responsible for presentation. Back-end does the processing work. That's the difference. User experience. Front-end provides the user interface. In fact, front-end software will provide user interface in such a way that it is most convenient for the user. User can use that with minimum use of help. Front-end software will make the front-end such that user can do that with minimum help. That is the front-end software. Speed. Well, if I use single software for both the work, then it will slow down the speed. If I use single software for both the work, yes, it will slow down the speed. And language. Front end speaks the language understood by the user, while it also understands the language spoken by the back end. In other words, front end is the connection between user and the back end. Yeah. In short, these were some details about front end, back end software. Next, we talk about application software. Now, you remember three-tier architecture we have done earlier. Three-tier architecture was the one where you learnt about application software. Application software was a separate application software was installed in a separate server in your three-tier architecture. Yes, so here they have basically given description about three-tier architecture and some examples of softwares that are put in the three-tier architecture. Okay. Using that software, well, there are three ways of using a software: either installed application or web application or cloud application. Installed application is installed on your hard disk. Web application is installed on the web server. So installed application is my software installed in my hard disk. Web application is my software installed on the web server, installed on the internet, and I use it directly from the internet. While cloud application is software as a service. Remember, we did that in chapter number 4, software as a service, that is using software on the internet that belongs to some other company. The software does not belong to me, it is somebody else's software which I directly use from the internet. That becomes my cloud application. Further, they have given some difference or benefits and pros and cons of using installed software versus cloud application. I'll just revise a few words in that. Using cloud application has a better thing that installation is not required, plus updation is not required because updating is responsibility of the cloud service provider. Also, cloud application can be used from any computer. Installed application can be used only from the one where it is installed. Installed application has full control over the data stored because all the data is stored in my computer only, while in case of cloud application, data is not stored in my computer, data is also stored on the cloud. Now if data is stored on the cloud, then ownership of that data is little risk or is a confusion. To clear that confusion, they have service agreements regarding who is considered as owner of the data. They'll have some agreement between the service provider and the buyer. Performance will be slow over here because cloud application will use internet services. And flexibility, installed applications have more flexibility because it is easy to write these softwares, but they have higher capital expense because you'll have to purchase your own software and install it, while in case of cloud application it has less of capital expense, more of operating expense. Because you remember, software as a service, I don't have to purchase any specific software, but I need to pay some monthly or annual subscription. Well, if I pay annual subscription, that increases my operating expense. Yeah. Okay, so these were the general things related to accounting softwares and all. Further, the important part of the chapter is a discussion regarding integrated system. Well, I explained integrated system with one example here, that if my company, if my business requires billing software, payroll software and accounting software, all three of them, then instead of having three separate softwares for each of this work, what I can do is I call a programmer and tell him to make a single software, one single software that will do all the three things. Yes, I can create a single software which will do all the three things. Single software which will do billing, payroll as well as accounting work also. Imagine a single software which will do billing as well as payroll as well as accounting. If all the three tasks are done by the same single software, then such software will be called as my ERP software, integrated system. Now, what is the benefit of that? Benefits is that it will combine features of more than one program into one program. Benefits is that now all the three softwares are not three separate softwares, rather it will become three different modules within the same software. Plus, among the three modules, they will have one common database. So whatever entries are done in billing or payroll or accounting, all that entries goes into one common database. So you don't have to enter things again. There will be less entry that is needed, because once I enter a sales bill in the billing module, that sales bill will automatically become accounting entry in the accounting module. You don't have to enter again. That is one major benefit. Second major benefit is the reporting. Now that all the data is in the same software, it can give you better reports. It can give you reports getting data from more than one modules together. Yeah. All that was the benefits of having an integrated system. All that you will see over here. Integrated system or ERP system combines more than one software into one. It is an overall business management software which caters to the need of all the people. It will coordinate all resources into one single software. Financial and accounting system are an important part of the ERP system. We are discussing ERP in this chapter because accounting software or accounting module, finance and accounting module, is the most important part of the ERP softwares. Yeah. These softwares will have a common database between all the modules. It is having a modular software design. Module means part of a software. It will provide an organization with functionality of two or more other systems together into one system. That was basically the ERP. Benefits of ERP, like information integration. ERP can automatically update data between various related functions of the business. We discussed about that. Reduction in lead time. If my ERP is connected with your ERP, remember that automatic purchase system, EDI, then definitely there will be faster delivery of the materials, delivery of the products. So it will be reduction in the lead time. On time shipping, yes. Reduction in cycle time. Cycle time is again same. It is the time between placement of order until delivery of the product. That can also be decreased, because everything is handled by a software. So my software does not handle only accounting now. Now my software is handling all tasks of the business. Improved resource utilization. Yes, my resources can be better utilized. I can keep inventory to the minimum level. I can keep machine downtime also to the minimum level. I don't need to keep excess inventory. I will produce goods only as per the demand, because I know that I can do the delivery in a much faster way now. And yes, accordingly, better customer satisfaction, better supplier satisfaction, better flexibility. You can react quickly to the changing market needs because everything is done by the software. Reduced quality cost of ensuring quality will now be reduced because many things are done by the software directly. Better analysis and planning. Yes, you can get improved information accuracy and decision making capability. Information needs to be accurate, relevant and available. ERP softwares will ensure that you get accurate, relevant and available information at all times. And use of latest technology. Yes, features of an ideal ERP TK that you will read. Anyways, so under ERP, important part was that benefits of ERP. Going further, risk and controls in ERP implementation. Now ERP implementation means when a company wants to implement ERP. If your company wants to implement a new ERP, then what all risk and controls are existing in that case? Well, in ERP, there is a central database, so all the persons in the organization access the same set of data. So this is one risk. All the data is centralized, so anyone who accesses the ERP will have access to that data. Yeah, so there is a risk of leakage of information. Yes, and there is a risk of putting incorrect data into the system. If everybody access the ERP, maybe some person might input wrong data into the ERP. That is also a risk involved. In general, ERP system implementation has lots of risks. All these risks and controls are classified under 5 categories here: people related risk, process risk, technological risk, other implementation, and post implementation risk. People related risk means the risk because of people, that is employees or management or the implementation team or consultants and vendors. Any risk related to human beings is covered under people risk. Under that, first one, look, I will be mainly discussing the risk part. Control part is the control part is to be written based on the risk part only. So control part, I may not discuss all the points there. Anyways, so risk part. First risk aspect people issues may is the change management. Because of ERP, there will be change in the job profile of many employees. Many employees, the nature of work will change. Earlier, they were doing the work manually. Now, because of ERP, they will do that work using softwares. So if the nature of work is changing like this, then any such change in the nature of work, employees will always be averse to the changes. Employees need to be given proper training for the smooth transition. Yeah, the way in which organization functions will also change. General method of organization functioning will also change, because now many things are done by the ERP directly. Change in the scope of the project. Maybe earlier my scope of the project was small, but now because of ERP I can make it a large scale scope. Yeah. Training, yes. Another problem is that generally when a company implements an ERP system, I need to give proper training to the employees. But generally ERP softwares are very expensive. Sometimes in some companies what might happen is that by the time they install ERP, they start the training, it will take many years to complete that implementation work. But during that time, the management has already spent so much money that by the time training starts, management may curtail the training due to increase in the overall cost budget. So ERP implementation is costly. Just because your ERP software was costly does not mean you should cut costs in the training part. Certain companies management will plan to cut the training cost because they have already spent huge money in the software itself. Then that will again lead to a risk in the ERP implementation. Staff turnover, yes, ERP systems are difficult to understand. Once I have given training to the employees, they know the software. Now if that employee leaves the company, then definitely it is risk for the company. Yeah. To prevent that, you should give proper compensation, proper paisa do to the employee so that he does not leave the company. Top management support, yes, ERP system will fail if the top management does not support and grant permission for the reuse of resources. And consultant, the ERP consultant who will come to teach the software to your employees, well, that person is the expert. He knows the software, but he is not familiar with the internal workings of the company. He knows the software, but he does not know how does my company operate. Well, that might lead to a problem. Well, to solve that problem, you should appoint a liaison officer, a person of senior management who can familiarize this expert with the way the company operates. Then process related risk. Process related risk are only two things: program management. There is a possibility of information gap between day-to-day program management activities and ERP enabled functions. Well, they are talking about information gap between, say, day-to-day activities and ERP functions. Some activities are done manually, some activities are done with the ERP. There might be an information gap between that. That is one problem here. And business process re-engineering. If the ERP leads to BPR, you know that BPR will lead to drastic changes in the method of working. Well, if the ERP leads to BPR, drastic changes, then it might need major changes or overhauling, changes in the organization structure, changes in management system, job descriptions, so many things or so many processes might change. That is also a risk here. Technology risk are general technology related risks, that software functionalities. ERP software might provide like hundreds of features, but all the organizations may not require so many features. Better is you incorporate only the features that are required by your company. Technological obsolescence, you implement a new technology, but very soon it might get obsolete. Then again there is a risk. You have spent so much money implementing some new technology. Suddenly if that goes obsolete, then you are at risk. Enhancements and upgrades. ERP systems must be upgraded periodically. But if ERP systems are not upgraded and kept up to date, if they are not updated and kept up to date, then there is a risk of, say, virus, or there can be risk of the system not performing well. Well, for that matter, you should select the vendor and have some service contracts with the vendor that the software vendor will give you regular updates. Application portfolio management. Selection of new business applications. Well, a company might be using many different apps, so many different applications you are using, so many new business applications you might be using. You have to select the apps carefully, because it might happen that you have installed so many unnecessary apps which maybe you're not even using. So many of you might have many unnecessary apps in your phone which you have never used, or you had used only once in a while. Well, so if you are having so many apps in your computer which you are not using, better would be to remove those apps. Well, for that matter, your control measure will keep highlighting number of applications in the current portfolio, so that it will keep telling you that currently you have these many number of apps. Maybe if you see that number again and again, you might take steps to remove unnecessary apps from your device. Yeah. Other implementation issues are general points here, that lengthy implementation time. Yes, ERP implementation is a lengthy process. Lengthy because it will take time to give training to the workers and all. So it is a lengthy process. Maybe by the time of completion of the process, there might be employee turnover. Because if the ERP implementation takes, say, 2 years, in 2 years many employees might leave the company, then that might be a problem. Insufficient funding. Now that it is a lengthy process, during the process of implementation, what if your money is exhausted? Then implementation might have to be stopped because you don't have enough funding there. Data safety. There is risk that there is only one set of data because everything is centralized. Well, to solve that problem, you should have a backup kept. Speed of operation. Well, as the data size becomes larger and larger, because all data is at one place only, data size will eventually become very large. If the data size becomes very large, then it may reduce the speed of operation. Well, to prevent that, you should keep removing redundant data, duplicate data. You might also use data warehousing. Remember, data warehouse is the one where I create copies of the database, put it in the warehouse, so that unnecessary data does not stay in the database. I will remove it and put it in the warehouse. System failure. In case of a system failure, my whole business might come to a standstill. Why? Because my entire business depends on this one software. If there is a failure of this software, then my entire business will come to a stop. That is my system failure. Data access. All the departments access the central database. If all the departments access the same database, this creates a possibility of access to non-relevant data. If all employees are given access to the central database, then there is a risk that maybe purchase employee might disturb the sales data, sales employee might disturb the purchase data. To prevent that, as they say, access rights need to be defined. Access rights should be separately defined, that which employee can access which data. That is like access rights to be defined. And finally, post-implementation risk, like ERP implementation. After implementation, it is a lifelong commitment. The software seller should be able to give me lifelong commitment after the ERP implementation. It requires strong level of commitment and consistency. In future also, whenever the customer faces problem, then ERP vendor should be able to provide service for that. Yeah. Okay, so these were all the risks associated with ERP implementation related risk. Further, there's a topic regarding role-based access control. I'll just cut short. Role-based access control simply says that access controls or access privileges should be given based on the designation, based on the role. The word role means designation. Access control means whom should be allowed access and what permissions should he be given. So say if employee 07 needs to be given some permissions, If employee 7 needs to be given some permissions, then the list of permissions given to employee 7 will be given with respect to his role, not with respect to his employee number. The permissions are not related with employee number. Permission will be related with the role. Currently, this employee is the purchase manager. Purchase manager should have these permissions. So permissions are allotted to the designation of purchase manager, not to the employee directly. This is called as role based access control. Look, employees might come and go, employees might be promoted or demoted to other positions, but the positions in my company will always remain the same. Purchase manager is a designation in my company. Somebody will always be purchase manager in my company. Yeah, so maybe today Mr. A is the purchase manager, tomorrow Mr. B might become purchase manager, whatever, but somebody will always be purchase manager. So whatever permissions I define into the software, I should define that permissions based on the designation, not based on the person directly. That is called as role based access control. Yeah. And then some examples are given, TK, that you can read, that which designations, director, CFO, head of HR department, which designation will have what permissions. Some examples are given that you can see. Audit of ERP systems was supposed to be your self-study, not very important. One case study is given, that is also your self-study. Next we talk about business processes. Well, under business processes, you remember from chapter 1 that what does a business process mean? Business process is activities done in a business. For example, accounting process is given in this diagram that you had learned. You can see that again. Types of businesses can be trading business, manufacturing business, service business. General things, you know that trading means just buying and selling. Manufacturing means you buy material, convert that into finished goods and then sell it. Service business is like selling of services. Now, next there is an illustrative list of business process modules in an ERP system. Well, ERP software will help you with many business processes. This is a list of certain business processes, business activities for which ERP has a separate module. In other words, this list is list of modules that exist in an ERP. I told you ERP software gives you features of more than one other softwares. So ERP software contains many modules integrated with each other. What modules does it contain? Well, some examples you see here. Modules like the first one, it contains financial accounting module. Finance and accounting module, that is basically an accounting module. This is the most important module. It will be maintaining your accounting data. So this is the module that you use for tracking financial data, and it is a module which integrates all information. Why do I say that this integrates all information? Because look, basically in an ERP software, all the other modules are interconnected to each other because of this module. Because of this module, all the other modules get interconnected, meaning your sales module will be connected to accounting module, purchase module connected to accounting module, say even the inventory module, even the asset module will be connected to accounting module, HR module will also be connected to the accounting module. Almost every other module will be definitely connected to this accounting module. So I can say that this accounting module is the one module which is holding together all the other modules. This accounting module is the one that is actually holding together all the other modules. Yeah. So what this module contains, features of that module. Features over here, I say that this is the module where you decide where you will save the organization structure. You define company name, company codes, different functional areas of the company. General settings of the software are also done in this module. Financial accounting global settings like which is the fiscal year, what is the posting period, what are the document types, all that general accounting settings will come here. General ledger accounting. Ledger accounting happens over here. Tax configuration, bank details are also saved over here. Accounts payable, accounts receivable, master data is also created here. Asset accounting is done over here, and this accounting will have integration with sales and distribution module, materials management module. In fact, this module will have integration with almost all the other modules. Yeah, that is your financial module. Controlling module is basically like your subject of costing. Controlling module is about analyzing actual figures, comparing the actual figures with the planned figures. So this module will help you to identify cost elements. What all elements of cost exist in your company: material, labor, overheads, factory overheads, admin overheads, all that cost elements you can identify here. Cost center accounting, well, it can classify the cost according to various cost centers. What is cost center? You should have learned that in your costing subject. It also allows you to do activity based accounting. It can give you cross departmental data. It can give you data across more than one departments activity wise. Activity wise, you might have learned that also in costing under the chapter activity based costing. You can also collect costs related to some specific job over here. It will give you details about the total product cost. It can give you profitability analysis. It can also give you profit center accounting, meaning you can classify profits according to individual or independent areas within the organization. All that is done by the controlling module here. Sales and distribution module is for handling your entire process, right from the inquiry from the customer up to when a delivery is done to the customer. So right when the customer does the inquiry until the delivery is done, all the activities involved in that comes under the sales and distribution module. Plus within this module, I say multiple modules are involved in this. Multiple modules are involved with this module naturally, because the sales module is also one of the important modules here. So accordingly, in this module also you can set up the organization structure, meaning general details about the company you can save over here. Assigning organizational units, ठीक, defining pricing components. Pricing, my selling price might depend on various conditions. Like you remember that flowchart we did, that if you buy from website or if you buy from mobile app, in all cases different selling price I will quote to you. So my pricing might depend on different conditions. Those conditions are saved in this module. Accordingly, pricing is decided by this module. Plus this module will set up the sales document types. This module will maintain customer master data also. All that can be maintained in the sales module. Next they have described the sales process. The sales process is basically how does sales happen in my company. But this sales process, if you answer in the exam, well, for this answer, for this topic here, you do not answer just that what is the sales process. Instead, you need to describe that how the ERP will help you in this process. Once again, you don't describe just that what is the sales process. Rather, you need to describe that how does the ERP help you in that process. How does the ERP help you in the sales process? I'll show you example. First comes the pre-sales activities, that is contacting the customers, giving quotations to them. Accordingly, you get order from the customer, that is sales order. You get confirmed order from the customer. Then you do inventory sourcing, that is ensure that the goods are ready and available for delivery. Once you ensure that the goods are available for delivery, you do the delivery of the products. Then billing, you'll send the invoice to the customer and you'll receive money from the customer. This is the general sales process. But during this process, understand, during this process, how does the ERP software help you in this process? How does the ERP software help you in this process? Well, in case of delivery, I say that delivery involves delivering the goods to the customer. But at the time of delivery, I need to make the delivery note. Well, if I need to make the delivery note, I don't need to type all the details in the delivery note. Rather, ERP software will copy the data from the sales order to the material delivery note automatically. Similarly, at the time of billing, I don't need to create a fresh invoice. Rather, all the data that I need in the invoice will be automatically copied from the material delivery note, and the details shall be copied directly into the invoice. Yes, that can be automatically done by the ERP. Basically, you need to answer that ERP software will help you in this automation here. Yeah, this is how you describe the sales process. Once again, please do not just write what is the sales process. You at least include 1 or 2 points like this, which will show that how does ERP help in that sales process. Yeah. Further, next is human resource module, that is okay, you can read. Production planning module is about the production work. It is to accomplish the planned procedure for production. Production planning module will collaborate with the other modules here. It will collaborate with all these other modules in order to ensure or help you in the production work. Yeah. So production module will contain master data regarding materials master and bill of materials. Bill of materials you might have learned in costing theory. Bill of material basically means list of material. So production planning module will contain master, material master and all. It will also contain SOP, that is sales and operations planning is a part of production planning. This is basically to forecast sales and production plan. You forecast the sales, based on that you estimate how much production should we do. Also distribution resource planning, how much goods should I distribute at say shop 1, shop 2, shop 3, how many units of the product should I distribute at which shop. That is my distribution planning. That can also be done by the software, by the module here. Production planning is about material forecasting, demand management, etc, etc. Material requirement planning, that production requires how much material, that also will be given by the module here. Capacity planning, how much capacity is utilized currently, how much capacity will be required for the target production, all that can be given by the module here. And product cost planning, it can also give you details about the product cost that you will incur to do the production. In short, these are various information you get regarding production over here. Material management module of the ERP, under that again process of material management is given. Basically the process given here is nothing but the purchase process. You can see that here. First purchase requisition comes from the production department. You evaluate the requisition, you will ask the vendors to give you quotations, evaluate the quotations and accordingly decide a vendor, give a purchase order to the vendor. Vendor will give you material, so you will have material receipt. At the time of receiving material, you make a GRN and the details in the GRN are automatically copied from the purchase order. That is the way ERP will help you in automation. Look, I told you in sales process, same thing I tell you again here. You do not need to mention just the process. You will not mention only the process, rather you need to mention that how does ERP help you in that process. That is what we are doing here. So ERP will help you such that purchase order details are automatically copied to the material receipt note, goods received note. Once you receive the material, you issue the material to the relevant production department. By this time you will also receive the purchase invoice and the details of material received shall be automatically copied in the purchase invoice details. Yes, and then you make the payment to the vendor. Next, quality management module is to manage quality in your company, product quality and all. These are the modules that will help you in maintaining quality. It will give you information about quality, it will help you in quality planning, quality control, quality assurance, etc. You get that we are not revising, not very important themes. Plant maintenance module is the module which will help you in maintaining the plant machinery. It will help you achieve minimum breakdown, because it will keep telling you when to do the servicing of the plant so that the plant does not break down. It will help you to use the machines at its optimum capacity. Yes, and it will ensure availability of the machine throughout the year whenever it is needed. Yeah. So within this module you can also maintain equipment master, which contains master data about all my plant machinery. It will also give you equipment and plant maintenance reports to help us review the situation, review the status of the plant machinery and all. And it will give you plant maintenance reports to review the preventive maintenance schedule. Preventive maintenance is basically regular maintenance, regular servicing of the machine, so that maintenance or so that breakdown of the machine is prevented. Preventive maintenance means you do the maintenance of the plant machinery, do the regular servicing of plant machinery such that breakdown will be prevented. All that is also handled by the plant maintenance module. Project systems module is for planning and managing projects. Projects is like turnkey projects. It will be like from the starting till the final completion of the job work, everything you are supposed to do, that is called as a project. So this module will help you to ensure that the project goal is clearly defined. It will ensure that the projects are executed within the budget and time, and that resources are allocated to the project as per the requirement. Generally, this module will be needed by those companies who are working on project basis. Yeah. Supply chain module is basically handling the network of business entities responsible for procurement, manufacturing and distribution activities. What is supply chain? Well, you might have done that in the subject of SM. I might remind you that again. Supply chain basically is all the activities involved, right from my material supplier until my final product delivered to my customer. Since my material supplier gives me the material until I give the final product to the customer, everything involved in between will be called as the supply chain. Supply chain module will help you manage all those things. It will help you manage procurement of material, manufacturing of the goods, and finally distributing the product to the final customer. All that can be helped by the supply chain module. Yeah. And the last one, customer relationship module, customer relationship management. This is the module which will help you to manage better relations with the customer. It aims at improving relationship with the existing customer, also finding new prospective customers and winning back the former customers. CRM does not exchange transactions with other modules, as CRM does not have any transactions. CRM does not have transactions. Rather, CRM is just giving you information about customers, which will help you to serve the customers in a better way. Yeah. So benefits of CRM, yes, it will give you improved customer relations, better customer satisfaction, better services can be given, because due to the CRM, you can have improved understanding of their issues and you can get continuous feedback from the customers. Also, it can increase customer revenues because you can do marketing, advertising in a more better way. It will help you in upselling and cross-selling. Upselling means giving customers a more premium product, and cross-selling means selling them complementary or related products. Better internal communication, yes, sharing the customer data between different departments so that you can work as a team. If I call the customer care number of a company, I explain my issue to them, but the person on the call is not able to help me, so he will transfer the call to another guy. Now, to that another guy, do I need to explain my problem again? No, they will have internal communication. Through the CRM software, they will have internal communication such that I don't need to explain my problem again. That is like better internal communication. Optimize marketing. Well, if I understand the customers better, I can do better advertising, better marketing to the customer. Yeah. Anyways, all that were the different examples of modules in an ERP software, different types of modules that are involved in an ERP software. Next, we talk about something related to module integration. Module integration says that all these modules of ERP that we learned, all these modules will have some integration with each other. All the modules are integrated or interconnected with each other. Well, they have given examples that what are the integration points and for what all reasons might they integrate. For example, the closing stock quantity will be required by many modules. It will be required by purchase module to see that how much material is available. It will be required by stores module because it is maintained in the store module. It is required by accounting module because accounting module will do stock valuation using that. It will be required by production department to see that how much material is available for production. So in short, this one particular data is shared among many modules. Well, that is where there will be lots of many such points of integration. Well, this here gives examples of integration points of various modules, like material module integrating with finance and accounting module. Look, every module will definitely have an integration with finance and accounting module. Materials will have, human resource will also integrate with accounting module, but material module will also have integration with production planning module, because when the production module requires material to do production, they will check the material module to see how much material is available. If not available, they will tell the material module to make a purchase of that material. Yeah. Anyway, so you will find examples over here regarding what are the reasons why one modules integrate with other modules there. Yeah, that you will read. I'm not revising. Next, you have an example of various modules of ERP in case of some ice cream manufacturing company. That also you will be reading. Okay, further we talk about MIS, data analytics and business intelligence. Well, three things together. First one, MIS. MIS is basically a reporting software. It is a software which is generating reports. Now, what kind of reports? Well, you had seen this example over here which says that MIS does not generate just accounting reports, balance sheet, P&L and all. No, MIS softwares are the softwares for generating any types of reports, many different types of reports. MIS softwares can give you reports like, say, in case of a call center business, in case of that call center business, MIS can give you reports like number of calls your staff takes in a day. It gives you reports like number of emails that come in every day. It gives you reports like how much time does it take to answer the phone call and all. In short, MIS gives you data or gives you reports regarding a variety of things in your business. Yeah, these are the softwares called as MIS. So we'll read some words there. MIS systems automatically collect data from various areas within the business. It will collect data from various areas in your business. It will collect data from your databases. Yeah, it can give you daily reports or it can give you on-demand reports. Sometimes smaller businesses might not have a separate MIS software, but for these small businesses, your Excel software, Microsoft Excel itself might be an MIS software. Look, Microsoft Excel can also create reports. You can do sorting, filtering, pivot tables and all in the Excel file. Well, all that is also basically for reporting purpose. So MIS might be as simple as an Excel software also. Yeah. Then examples are given, types of information that MIS report might contain that we discussed. Criteria that MIS report must meet. Well, MIS report should be relevant, timely. Relevant means relevant to your business, relevant to your purpose. It should be timely, matlab it should give you on-time information, latest information, should give you accurate information, and it should be structured. Structured means that it should not be complicated. Rather, it should be easy to follow. The report should be easy to follow, easy to understand. That kinds of reports are the MIS reports. Basically, these MIS are softwares which contain a predefined report format. It contains a predefined report format such that whenever you want a report, you can directly generate reports in that predefined format. Yeah, that is your MIS. Next, data analytics. Data analytics are basically again softwares for analysis of data. Look, MIS was just reporting software. Data analytics is also a kind of reporting. Rather, this is more pertaining to analysis of data. Many different types of softwares exist that provide you analysis of data. So, data analytics is a process of examining data set to draw conclusions. Examples: business intelligence softwares, online analytical processing softwares. These are just certain examples about names of data analytics software. These are just the examples, you just need to remember the names. Yeah. Data can be analyzed, which can be historical or new data, internal or external data. All these types of data can be analyzed here. Yeah. And under that, we now learn types of data analytics applications. These are again different examples or types of softwares that perform data analytics. You need to remember names of all these applications and also the functions. What type of analysis this software does. Like, exploratory data analysis is to analyze relationships in data. Relationships like between two variables x and y. Relationship analysis like correlation regression can be done by exploratory data analysis softwares. Confirmatory data analysis are the softwares which can help you in hypothesis testing. Hypothesis testing, like these are the softwares where you take an assumption and the software can test that whether the assumption is true or false. It will test based on a data set. It will test based on some data that you have, and it will test that in this data whether your assumption is true or false. Quantitative data analysis is for numerical data. Qualitative data analysis is for non-numeric data like text, images, audio, video, etc. Data mining we've done in chapter 3. It is mainly to identify trends and patterns in your data. Data mining is an example of data analytics. Predictive analytics is to predict future events, make predictions like weather forecast and all. Machine learning also we've done. It is a type of artificial intelligence done in chapter number 4. Big data analytics also done in chapter number 3. That is an example of data analytics. And text mining. Text mining is just a different version of data mining where it will be analyzing text based content. For example, when you receive some mail in your Gmail account, Google will read your email, analyze the text and give you indications or give you notifications accordingly. For example, when I book a flight ticket or I book a movie, when I book a movie ticket on say Book My Show will send an email to my Google account, but at the movie time, when the movie time will come, Google will give me reminder that it is now time to leave for your movie. Google Maps will give me reminder. Now, how does Google Maps come to know that I have a movie booking right now? Well, because Google will read my email, see the movie timing and accordingly give me a reminder whenever I need to go for the movie. Yeah. That can be an example of text mining. Anyways, data analytics usage, you can read there. It is used at various different places, and data analytics process is same as the steps involved in data mining which we did in chapter 3. You can go back to chapter 3, revise there. It is exactly the same steps involved here. Next, business intelligence is a form of data analytics only. In fact, it was given as example in data analytics also. Plus, at the end of the topic also they have mentioned that business intelligence is sometimes used interchangeably with data analytics. Well, anyways, I'll still give you some keywords over there. Business intelligence is for analyzing data and presenting actionable information. These are the softwares which will analyze data to give some information which is actionable information. Actionable means that with this information you can take some actions, you can do some corrective actions with that. Yeah, that is presenting actionable information. Oops. So business intelligence will do what? It will collect data. It will be used to collect data, analyze the data, run queries against the data. It can create reports. It will give you data visualizations. Visualizations means it will give you graphs and charts and all these things. Yes, all that can come in the business intelligence softwares. Reasons for using business intelligence software. Well, business intelligence will enable organization to make well-informed decisions. Yeah, it can give you competitive advantage. Yes, it can help you make accurate forecast. Okay, it will also improve timeliness and quality of information. It will reveal to you all these different informations, and all these are all the benefits, or why do we use reasons for using business intelligence. Use of BI. Well, BI can use historical data as well as new data to generate reports for you. It can help you in both strategic and tactical decision making. Strategic means top level decisions, long term decisions. Tactical decisions are like routine day-to-day decisions. It can help you giving reports for all these types of decisions. Earlier, say in the past, the business intelligence softwares were created by the BI developers. The reports were created by the BI developers only. But nowadays we have self-service BI tools. Self-service means in these softwares there is no predefined report format. Rather, it will allow you to generate, it will allow you to create your own report, build your own report format, and the software will pick up data in that format and give you. Remember, in MIS I said that there is a pre-designed report format, but here there is no pre-designed report format. Rather, it will allow you to create a format of the report. You give me format, you give the format, software will give you data in that format. Yes, so in short, software can give you data in any format that you want. That is why it says that It will let the executives run their own ad hoc queries. Ad hoc queries means you can ask any random questions. It will pick up data, search data for that and give you reports. Benefits of business intelligence. Well, general benefits are there that you can read. And business intelligence technology, well, all these are just examples of various softwares that are also business intelligence softwares, and you might see that many of these examples are repeated from the previous topic of data analytics. One part I will revise over here called as agile software development technique. This is a method of developing software. It is a software development technique such that my new software is not created as one whole software. Rather, my software development is broken up. It will break up the software development project into small chunks. So rather than creating one software as a whole at a time, what it will do is you create the software in small bits and pieces. You create the software in various small bits and pieces such that once a bit of the software, once one part of the software is ready, you start implementing it. Then second part is ready, you start implementing it. Because of this, you can put the BI features into use more quickly because the software development is done in many small pieces. So the features, the software can be put to use more quickly, and you can refine and modify the software development as and when needed. So if I start implementing the first small chunk of the software, if I find some mistake in that, I can tell the software developer do the modification before the same mistake happens in other chunks also. Yeah, that is better. That is my agile software development technique. Anyways, all this discussion comes under business intelligence. Next is my discussion regarding Xbrl. Xbrl is basically for business reporting. It is a type of reporting software. Business reporting or enterprise reporting is generally public reporting. Public reporting basically means filing reports with the government. Public reporting means filing reports with the government. Public reporting of operating and financial data by a business enterprise, or it can also be used for regular provision of information to decision maker within the organization. In short, my term here, business reporting, is not just for filing reports with the government, but it is also for reporting within the organization. So business reporting pertains to reporting to the government or reporting within the organization. Well, one of the example under business reporting we learned here called as Xbrl, Extensible Business Reporting Language. Now to understand that, I had given you example like this. The main crux of Xbrl, I will just repeat, the main crux here is that when so many different companies, many companies will be filing their reports with the ROC, Registrar of Companies. Then imagine if so many companies file reports with the ROC, then ROC will be getting data from so many different places, and all that data that ROC gets is not standardized. Xbrl is just a method of standardizing all the data that comes from the company, such that ROC will tell A Limited, B Limited that when you file your books of accounts with ROC, you do not file them in the format how you maintain it. Rather, you convert that into a standard tagging system. So all the companies are told to convert their accounting format into a standard tagging system, and what they will file is in that standard tagging format. For example, if A Limited is filing data about salary, then A Limited contains basic salary, DNS allowance, HRA, three different ledger accounts. But similarly, B Limited is calling it as basic pay. Instead of basic salary, they are naming it as basic pay. They are calling it say inflation allowance, and they are calling house rent allowance as just rent allowance, HRA ke badle just RA. So you see that there is a difference in the name of the ledger accounts. But when they do filing with the ROC, they will not file according to these names that they have given. Rather, they have to convert their data into the Xbrl tag, standard tag. And what they will file will be in terms of the standard tagging system. So A Limited will not say that my basic salary paid is 10 lakh rupees. No, rather A Limited will file that E1 is 10 lakh rupees. A Limited will not say that DNS allowance is say 2 lakh rupees. A Limited will file that E2 is 2 lakh rupees. In short, if they use such standard tagging system, if all the companies use that same standard tagging system, then ROC server can automatically analyze the data that is filed by the companies. This is my Xbrl system. So Xbrl is basically a format of filing reports with the authorities. Xbrl is open international standard for digital business reporting. The word digital reporting means e-filing, but it is an open international standard. Each word I will explain here. The word standard here is because all the data that I want to file are converted into such standard tagging system. Hence the word standard. International, because Xbrl is internationally renowned. It is not just in India, it exists globally, everywhere. It is a global software. And open, the word open here indicates that if ROC wants some data from the companies, then ROC can generate as many tags as they want. Either ROC will tell you to split your total salary expense into 3 tags like this, or ROC can also tell you to split that into 10 different tags like this. So Xbrl is not a predefined software. Rather, the governing authority can define as many tags as they want. Means that the software is open for the regulatory body to create as many tags as they want. If ROC says that they want salary expense under 3 tags, E1, E2, E3, then you have to file under those 3 tags. If ROC says that they want it under say 10 different tags, if ROC says that they want it under 10 different tags like that, then you have to create 10 different tags like that. Yeah. So that is open for changes. Now, because of this method, the information that you file is now clearly defined. It is platform independent, testable, and digital. Each word has a significance, clearly defined. Look, when I said basic salary, you said basic pay. I said DNS allowance, you said inflation allowance. So you see that the data is not clearly defined. It will be difficult to understand the data. But now under the Xbrl system, information is now clearly defined because all the DNS allowances for all the companies in India, throughout the entire country, in every single company, DNS allowance will always be called as E2. So the information is now more better, clearly defined. Platform independent, because whatever data, this data that ROC will collect, it can be used by ROC. Yes, it can also be used by other government regulatory bodies. For example, ROC will also share this data with the GST department. They will also share this data with income tax department. Because it is platform independent, the same data can be read by the GST server, income tax server. It can be studied by any different servers of the government because it is now platform independent. Platform independent means that data filed with ROC does not depend only on the ROC platform. It can be read, it can be shared with any other platform also. Testable means that at the time of filing the data itself, ROC server can automatically test the data that whether you are filing in a correct format or not. If you have made any mistake in the filing, then the server will immediately reject. Look, it does not mean that once I do the filing, ROC there will be a person who will check my data and then tell me whether it is correct or not. No, there is no human intervention involved. The filing format itself is such that it is testable by the software automatically. The server will contain some testing rules. By which the server can automatically test whether what you are filing is correct or not. That makes it testable. And digital says that it is e-filing. Yeah. Further, Xbrl makes reporting more accurate and more efficient. It allows unique tags to be associated with the reported facts. Yes, this is where I explained that the tagging system is developed. Unique tags are created. Remaining rest of the things that you will read. Important one here is the topic about XBRL tagging. Tagging over here says that it is basically about standardization. Any financial data is tagged with the most appropriate element in the accounting taxonomy. Every financial data is tagged with some particular tagging system. Because of this, now the data is comparable. Look, earlier my salary and A limited salary, B limited salary was not comparable. Maybe because A limited shows 3 different items in the salary. Maybe because B limited does not show this, B limited shows all the salary together. Then the salary is not comparable. But if both the companies are forced to present their salary according to tag E1, E2, E3, then now the salaries are comparable. Data now becomes more comparable between various different companies. That is making the data comparable, plus it makes the data interchangeable. Like I said, ROC can interchange data with GST server, income tax server, or various other government regulatory bodies. XBRL has capability to allow tagging of transactions that can themselves be aggregated into reports. Now, because of this standard tagging system, ROC can generate a report of the tags itself. It can generate reports regarding, say, it can generate report of tag E1, E2, E3. It can generate report of just tag E1. In short, the tag itself can be converted into a report. Who uses it? Well, regulators like these are using it, companies are using it, governments are using it, data providers, analysts, investors, accountant also uses it. That is just examples who uses the tagging system. Important features of XBRL. Features of XBRL here. Features of XBRL we already discussed. It says that it gives you clear definition. The data is now clearly defined because the definitions are developed by the regulator, ROC and all. Plus, XBRL does not put a limit that what kind of information is defined. Meaning, ROC is free to extend the tagging system as much as they want. They are free or they are open to generate as many tags as they want. Hence, it is extendable. Testable business rules says that the server can test the data that you file immediately when you file. Server can do the testing because the server contains such rules. Yes, rules that will constrain what can be reported. It will stop poor quality of information being reported. If your data contains some mistake, server can immediately reject your filing and you will be asked to file again. It will stop poor quality information from being accepted by the regulator. Yes, it will also highlight questionable information. Any wrong information will be highlighted and given to you so that you can make a correction and give it back. These testing rules can also create ratios and aggregations. Creating ratios, matlab it can make some calculations, say it can calculate total salary of all companies in India. It can also make ratios, that what is the ratio of DNS allowance to basic salary for all companies in India. It can do general ratios, general aggregations for all the data that is filed. Multilingual support. Yes, XBRL gives you support in various different languages and strong software support. Software support, like to use the XBRL, you might need other softwares. XBRL software is so famous that there are many other supporting softwares available to use XBRL. For example, file converters. File converters are available which can convert Excel format into XBRL format easily. That can help you to create XBRL formats easily. That is the software support we are talking about here. Last topic of the chapter is something about applicable regulatory and compliance requirement. Well, under this topic we compared two things. Compared that is it better to use same software for accounting and tax work, common software like ERP, or is it better to use different softwares for accounting, different for taxation work? So there is a comparison of pros and cons of using combined software like ERP versus separate software for accounting and compliance work. We'll see that. Chalo. Ease of operation. Which will be more easier to operate? Well, more easier to operate will be a separate software, because ERP is not an easy software. You need proper trainings to be given to use that ERP software. Which method will have better features? Well, again, separate softwares will have more features, because in case of separate softwares, there is separate exclusive softwares. There is an exclusive software only for accounting and an exclusive software only for taxation. Naturally, that will have more features. But if it is a common software for both the work, then some features might be cut down. But time and efforts required will be less in case of common software. Why? Because it is an integrated system. You don't need to enter data again and again. Data that you require will be automatically transferred from one module to other module. So it will require less time and efforts to use that software. Accuracy will also be more because data is again automatically transferred. Cost will also be more because naturally ERP softwares are very expensive, while separate softwares might be lesser costly, cheaper, but ERP softwares are definitely more expensive. Anyways, so that covers my last topic here, difference between combined software and separate softwares. Combined software for accounting plus tax versus separate software for accounting, separate for tax. Yeah. Okay, so that covers my revision of chapter number 2. That's all. Thank you very much. Next session, last lecture, will be covering revision of chapter number 5. Yeah, that's all. Thank you for now.